Folks, so the UFC is going down this weekend. We got a main event between Marina Rodriguez, Amanda Lemos. The last UFC, we took Arnold Allen to win. He did. Unfortunately, not the way we wanted to. If you guys seen the fight, Calvin Kattar got injured. And I don't know if it's just me, but are you guys seeing a lot more of fighters getting injured, especially in main events during, high profile UFC cards? So, I mean, it wasn't high profile UFC card, but it was still like a main event. And you're definitely seeing more people get injured in main events and just in general. But let's get into the UFC this weekend. It's not the greatest card. This is like the appetizer for the big main event, but there's still money to be made. If you guys need a place to bet, you already know BetUS, promo code Iceman, the best promotions in the game at BetUS, available in US, Canada, and Europe. Especially if you use promo code Iceman, then you're getting them heavy promos. All right, Jake Hadley takes on Carlos Candelario. Jake Hadley, huge favorite, minus 270. And he's the real deal. He's came to the UFC on a roll. He was 7-0, had that fight in Contender Series in 2021. He got a rear naked choke, and he won himself a contract to the UFC. Now his last fight was his first fight in the UFC, and he fought Alan Nascimento, and Alan beat him in a unanimous decision. And now he's taking on Carlos Candelario. And it's surprising because he is coming off a loss, and now he's a huge favorite, minus 270. So I think I'm going to stay away from betting on this one, even though I do think Jake Hadley is going to win. My pick is Jake Hadley. I mean, there's a reason he is such a big favorite, but to be honest, I don't know why he shouldn't be this big of a favorite, in my opinion. So that's interesting right there. Let's see here. 1 second. Yo. All right. So Johnny Munoz takes on Ludwig Shalanian. I don't even know how to pronounce this name. But Johnny Munoz, minus 230 favorite. Another big favorite on the card. This card, it's interesting. Like Johnny Munoz Jr., he's got one win and two losses in his last 3 fights. So he's 1-2, and he's a minus 230 favorite going against this Ukrainian, I believe. And yeah, she's coming off a loss to Jack Shore. Jack Shore's for real. So Ludwig, this guy actually fought on the Ultimate Fighter season 29. I actually didn't even watch that Ultimate Fighter, to be honest. But yeah, this is it's interesting. I'll probably go with Johnny Munoz Jr. Johnny Munoz on that one. But that's another one where I'm like, should this person be such a big favorite? Look at this. Mario Bautista, Benito Lopez. These are like boxing odds. You're starting to see, you see this on boxing. Like if you were to open up your bet account and look at boxing, like that's the type of odds you see. Heavy favorites most of the time. So we got Mario Bautista takes on Benito Lopez. One's 10-2, 10-1, both pretty good records, So Mario Bautista, he did submit Brian Kelleher his last fight, round 1, choked him out, RNC. His only fight loss, he's got 2 losses, sorry. He's got one to Corey Sandhagen. That was his first fight in the UFC. I remember that in 2018. So he lost to Corey Sandhagen. No shame losing to the Sandman. He's top guy in that division. And he lost to Trevin Jones, who's also pretty good. He's decent. And then, he's coming off 2 solid wins. Now he's taking on Benito Lopez. Benito Lopez's only losses to Manny Bermudez. Manny Bermudez was like at the time 13-0, I believe. So taking on Yeah, I don't know why this. Like, I don't know why Mario Bautista is such a big favorite. That's interesting. 10-1, 10-2. Benito Lopez's only loss at the time was to a 13-0 fighter, Manny Bermudez. He's got victories over Vince Morales, Albert Morales. They're just putting him up against all Mexicans. And now he's taking Mario Bautista. Man, I have no idea why this guy's a huge favorite. Like, sure, he beat Brian Kelleher, but yeah, I'm gonna take the. I'm gonna. I'm gonna actually stay away from this one. I'm gonna stay away from that one. Now we got Derek Minner takes on Shahilan Nerdenbecki. Derek Minner coming off 2 straight losses, but before that he had 2 straight wins over Charles Rosa, TJ Laramie. He's losing to good dudes. Ryan Hall lost to Darren Elkins, which is Darren, damage. He's okay, but Ryan Hall, I'm a big Ryan Hall guy because the jiu-jitsu, but he did get dominated by Ryan Hall. Now he's taking on Shahilan. Both guys, a lot of experience, a lot of pro fights. This guy's got almost 50 pro fights, Shahilan. And Derek Minner's got like, 40 pro fights. Like, that's a lot. I could see why this Shahilan guy is the favorite, though. He's, four wins in his last 5 fights, so makes sense. In his UFC, he's got 3 fights in the UFC, and he's got 2 wins, 1 loss. His 1 loss was to Josh Kulibau, who's 10-1, and at the time it was his first fight in the UFC. So coming off 2 straight wins in the UFC, so I think he should probably beat Derek Minner. I'm gonna go with Shahilan on that one. Next, Grant Dawson takes on Mark Madsen. Mark Madsen, great wrestler. Surprised to see Grant Dawson such a big favorite, but Grant Dawson is for real. I mean, he hasn't lost since 2016, which is his only loss in MMA. He lost to Hugh Poiley, which was 6 years ago, and he's been on a roll, 9 wins in a row coming into this Mark Madsen fight. Mark Madsen, the Olympian wrestler, he's got 12 wins in a row, so that's impressive. Last fight he did beat Vince Pichel. Like, is Grant? Yeah, to be honest, he hasn't looked too impressive for a guy who is an Olympic, medalist. He hasn't really looked as good as he should. I've seen fights where he actually looks like exhausted at the end of the third round, third round. He's exhausted. At his weight class, you shouldn't be getting tired like that. So I'm going with I'm gonna go with Grant Dawson on this one. I think 18-1. This guy's for real. I think he hasn't lost 6 years. He hasn't fought a wrestler like Marco Madsen. I think Marco Madsen will get him down, but I think Grant Dawson is going to be able to get back to his feet and just make Marco Madsen work. And I think Grant Dawson gets that done. Now, Tagir Ulanbekov takes on Nate Maness. So Tagir, this guy's one of Khabib's buddies, I believe, or maybe they're related. Not sure, but he came into the UFC pretty good. Rounded off 2 straight wins, one over Bruno Silva, one over Alan Nascimento. Now his last fight, he lost to Tim Elliott. Tim Elliott's a guy with a lot of experience, but I wasn't too impressed with Tim Elliott, but Tagir Ulanbekov did lose to him. Now he's I don't want to bet against like these guys from Khabib's camp. These guys are monsters. I'm gonna definitely go with the Dagestani, even though Nate Maness is good. Nate Maness is real good. To be honest, I could even see this fight going over. I wouldn't even. To be honest, I'm just gonna bet the over on this one. So my pick's over. because Nate Maness is for real. Now Josh Priest, Chase Sherman. Chase Sherman was a guy, I thought he was going to get cut from the UFC. He had like 4 straight losses. Then he fought Jared Vandera, knocked him out in the third, and now he's fighting Josh Priest. And Josh Priest 2-2 in his last 4 fights. The last fight he did win over Alan Baudot. So let's see. Both guys 6'4". Josh Priest got slight weight advantage, 15 pounds. Unless he's cutting to 265, which I'm not sure if he is. Yeah, I think this fight goes either way. This is a toss-up. If I were to bet, I would probably go with Josh Priest. Yeah, I'm slightly leaning towards Josh Priest on that one, but the fight goes either way. This is now the next fight. Neil Magny, D-Rod, Daniel Rodriguez, just coming off a win over Li Jinglang. Close fight. Some people thought Leach won. Some people thought D-Rod won. I thought D-Rod jabbed him up. It wasn't the most impressive, but he did beat the Leach, and the Leach is no joke. Leach has got heavy hands. If anyone's seen the Leach fight, and he's taking on Neil Magny. Neil Magny's a really good fighter. This, in my opinion, should be the main event. I don't know why this is not the main event. Neil Magny coming off a loss to Shavkat Rakhmonov, which, everybody doesn't want to fight Shavkat Rakhmonov. This guy's insane. And that guy's got like 15-0 or something, 15 finishes. Or I think it's 16 now, 16-0, 16 finishes. Yeah, that guy's nuts, bro. So I think he's going to... D-Rod, really good. This is he's a really good boxer. I think if he can stick on the outside, use his jab, I think he can outstrike Neil Magny. He can outpoint him. But if Neil Magny makes this a grappling match, I think Neil Magny's, he's long, man. This guy's long, lanky. He's got good takedowns. So this fight, I'm going to go with the over on this one. I think this fight goes over 1.5 all day. But yeah, this should be your main event, I think. If D-Rod can keep it on the feet, D-Rod wins this fight. So let's face a grappling match. Neil Magny's probably going to come away with it with a decision because that's his style of fighting. But yeah, I could see this fight going the distance for sure. Now, Amanda Lemos takes on Marina Rodriguez. Marina Rodriguez, her only loss was to Carla Esparza. And it was a split decision loss in 2020. Since then, she's been on a roll, beating girls like Amanda Hebos, Mackenzie Dern, Yao Xiaonan. 4 in a row for her, and she's taken on Amanda Lemos, who's, 2 wins, 1 loss. Her 1 loss was to Jessica Andrade. She was like a standing arm triangle choke, which, you don't really see that too often. I think Marina Rodriguez should run away with that one. So I'm going to go with Marina Rodriguez on that one. And yeah, the main attraction is going to be that UFC 281 card. So tune in and let's make some money for these next couple cards. This is like building bankroll for that pay-per-view. Out.